Here, Vanderbilt women's basketball head coach Shea. Coach, we'll just take an opening statement after your 102-50 win over Lipscomb in the season opener.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you guys for being here. And I want to thank the schools that came. I think that was a really great environment for our first game. It's always fun to have people in the seats, and hopefully as we move forward and continue to build the program and put a product on the floor that people want to see, that inspires people, then we'll continue to get fans to come in and help, because that is a major motivator, the home court advantage. And you guys know in our league, every game is really important. So thank you for those that showed up today. And my team, I don't know that I could be more proud of our first game and our first effort. I'm not surprised, and I'm also not satisfied. So I think there's a lot that we can clean up. But I think, what I've done, it feels like every time I come talk to you guys after every game that I've been here as a coach, I'm always asking for a full team effort. We have one or two kids that step up and help us win the game, and I'd always like us to have one or two more. And I felt like our first game out of the gate, we had a full team effort with some key pieces missing. So really, really proud of our young guys. I don't know that there's a player I'm harder on than Camille Pierre. And I thought she showed up and kind of dominated the game in a bunch of different ways today. And, Michaela Blake's, I've been telling you guys that she's pretty special. And again, what she did today is something she does every single day in practice. She does it every day. So like Camille said, we're interested in stacking days and getting better. So there was a lot about today that was really good individually. And as a team, there's a lot that I would like to clean up before we play again on Friday. But overall, I'm really, really proud of our team. Really proud for the effort today.
We'll go ahead and open up the floor with questions. We'll start with Vanderbilt Hustler. Go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned that you had a couple big pieces out today. Are you expecting those to be out long term, or is that just kind of a short term day injury?
Sasha Washington, we're not sure. We're going to have some clarity pretty soon. Justine will start working back in next week. And then my understanding is that Leilani, she's been full contact in practice, so we should be seeing her pretty soon, if not Friday. But you will be seeing at least two of them pretty soon.
Michaela Blake, you talked about how she's special, but watching her play in that first quarter, did you anticipate anything like that?
I mean, I like having her on our team. I think one of the things we're really good at here, and one of the things that I've been good at in my career is being able to identify talent, but also recruiting intangible qualities. So Michaela is very talented and skilled. That's not hard to see. But she has intangible things that I can't coach that drive her. She's a force. And what's really special about her in particular as a freshman is that she's fearless. So you saw that today. She's fearless. Her confidence is real and genuine. You can't shake her confidence. She'll do whatever the team needs her to do to win, but she can also score 30 if you need her to, 35. So she's unselfish, she's fearless, she has an engine. There's a lot that she needs to get better at. But the things that I can't coach, the things we can't coach her to do on the basketball court, she has them, which is why she's so special. And I am not surprised, but I'm glad that her efforts have paid off her first game.
Brandon, go ahead.
First game back for Madison Green since the injury. She scores 14 points. How big is that for her to be able to come in and make such a big impact in her first game back?
It's huge. It's huge. She's put a ton of work in, and I don't know if you guys remember, but Lipscomb was the game she got hurt during last year. So one of the things people never really talk about when you have an injury like hers, a knee injury, and I would know because I've had a few, is that kind of mental hurdle when you come back and play on the court. Now she's been practicing full go, but being on the court in a real game against a team you injured, that's a lot mentally. I thought she was super disruptive. She is who we need her to be, and she needs to be when she comes out on the court. But to see her like Miss Nobies in her first game was really impressive. But also she worked for it. I'm happy for her.
Aria?
Yeah, Shea, what kind of improvements did Camille make in the off season, and what kind of enabled her to have such a good game even while kind of switching between playing 4 and the 5?
Yeah. Camille is incredibly gifted, and I think one of the things that she got a taste of last year was success, and she can see the impact that she can have on both ends of the floor no matter where we put her. And we I don't really play with positions. I put people where they can be successful, I think, but for her it's always been her mindset, And I think when she went home this summer, she put a ton of work in there. She put a ton of work in when she came back. When she talked about stacking days, I am really hard on her about that. I want her to practice the way that she played today. I want her to stack days where her mindset is, whatever's in front of me, I'm going to destroy it. Whatever you ask me to do, I'm going to do it. And she's really started to buy into that. And I'm glad because she is seeing, I think, how successful she can be, but also the impact that she can have on our team. When she plays like that, we're going to be hard to beat. And that's just the reality of it. So for her to have that today, the first game, I think for our team is important, but also for her to keep stacking those days was really crucial.
Aria, go ahead.
Yeah, and then with several players who expected to play a big role out, you know, that kind of got some of the younger players a lot of run. How good was it for them to see so many minutes today and be part of a big win?
Yeah, you can't really simulate that in practice. I think a lot of times when you have a young team or a lot of new pieces, like we have some kids that have gotten better. Sasha's out, so we had a lot of young kids that got a lot of minutes. And I was able to utilize different rotations. There's not really a way for me to do that that's as impactful as it is in a game, in practice. So the more our young kids can get experience, when we start adding our more experienced players back to the mix, the better we're going to be. Because those guys don't need it. They're going to be okay. The young guys, they need to play. They need to play a lot when the lights are on, in front of fans, when there's a little bit more pressure on them than just me. And I thought today we're able to do that, and that's only going to help them and us.
Elena, go ahead.
One of the younger players who's much improved and recorded her career high today, Ayanna Mitchell, what do you think that her impact could be long term or even just for the season?
Who knows? Gosh, her ceiling is super high, right? I think we need her to be a rim protector and a rebounder, but her athleticism is incredible, right? And I mean, if she can run up the floor like she did and get 2 or 3 layups a game, provide some size and athleticism in the paint, which is something that we've missed pretty much since we've been here, then she's a piece that we don't have. Now it's just building her confidence and making sure she knows that we expect those things every day that she can bring. And then when she gets, more confident in doing some of the other things, she's, I don't know, the sky's the limit really for her. But she's something we don't have. So the better she gets, the better we're going to be.
Hustler, go ahead.
Yeah, how did you feel about the defensive intensity and execution today? I mean, you forced 23 turnovers, they shot a terrible percentage. I mean, you knew that traps and press were in the game plan, but did you expect it to be this effective?
You see it differently than I do. I think it was effective. I also thought they got a lot of open shots and rebounds that is why I am who I am. But I am proud of the consistent effort defensively. I think that's been something that we've struggled with, especially in practice. I think consistent effort, you'll repeatedly hear me talk about that in practice. Like, I don't want us to miss a beat when we sub. I don't want us to miss a beat when they line up differently or they sub. And I don't want to give really good players open looks. And then when we play like that and we have a lot of rotating, everybody on the floor has to do a good job of boxing out and rebounding. And one of the things that's been our Achilles heel down the stretch in February and March has been rebounding. So I thought a lot about today was good defensively, but I'd like to see us clean up some key areas that I think could hurt us if we try to play like that and don't pay attention to them.
All right, Coach. Final round of questions. We'll just get these last 2 here.
Yeah.
Aria, go ahead.
Yeah. Shea, what kind of impact do you see Michaela Blake's having this season?
It's a good question. I don't really look too far ahead. I know that the team that we have can do something really special. That's what I feel. Are we close to being that team yet? In my mind, no. So I think of it more like we need to be a much better team and individual players at this time next week than we were today. When we go play on the road at South Florida, I want to see how much we've grown in a week and a half. And then, so on and so forth. But when I think of, when we talked about bringing Michaela here, we talked about her doing something, and all the kids that we brought here, doing something that hasn't been done before at Vanderbilt in the women's basketball program. Now, there's been some pretty special years few decades ago, a couple decades ago, right? Final Fours, Elite Eights, Sweet 16s. That to me is a baseline expectation. That should be the conversation we're in every year. So when we came here and we started recruiting, these are the things that we talk to the players that you're watching now. These are the things we talk to them about accomplishing. So it's the first game of the year. That's why I don't want to get too far ahead. It's the first game of the year. But my expectation is that we bring this program back to national prominence, where it should be. And that we're in the conversation for whatever championship is out there to win. We are always in the conversation. That's where we should be. That's the expectation. That's why Michaela came here. And I think she's going to be a big part of making that happen.
All right, last question here. Brandon Bixby, go ahead.
You talk about wanting to see your team continue to grow and be better a week ago or a week from now than they are now. Where do you feel like you want to see that progression the most over the next few weeks or games?
I'd like to see some small details in terms of, like we talked about on the defensive end, rebounding, making sure that we're not giving up wide open looks, not fouling. Okay, you can never control what the refs do, but not fouling. I'd like to make sure that when players come into the game that they know exactly what they're supposed to do. I think today there was some confusion, a little bit offensively. I was proud of how we shared the ball, but I want there to be seamless flow from the bench in the game, from the game in the bench. I want to see lots of energy from start to finish. I think there was a couple dips today. So there's small details. When I watch the film, I'll have a much longer list for you. But there are small details, and I don't think they're going to be hard to fix. I also expect perfection. I know that's not realistic, but I think if you try, if I keep pushing them, then we'll get pretty close.
All right, Coach, congratulations on the season opening